For those of you who don't know what has happened with Power Rangers in the last few years, I'll give you a brief summary before we start so you can understand the entire video. The last few seasons of Power Rangers are called Dino Fury, and it was basically 2 seasons with the same actors. This is the first time since Mighty Morphin that a Power Rangers series is going to repeat for the 3rd time, but it's the first time it's doing it with all the actors that were there from the first season. The only difference is that in this 3rd season that premieres in the fall, they changed the name and now it is going to be called Cosmic Fury. Another change they made is the theme of the entire series, since now they are going to have very little of the Sentai and Power Rangers will be more independent. This is why they were able to release new costumes, new weapons, and some Rangers changed their colors. Another very important thing that this new series is going to have is that we will have the first female Red Ranger who is going to be the leader for the entire season. Understand that well. I don't want you to write to me in the comments with nonsense. We know that there have been female Red Rangers, there have also been female leaders, there have also been female Red Ranger leaders, but this is the first time that the female Red Ranger is going to be able to be the leader for the entire season. This series is only going to have 10 episodes, and it is expected to be a story very much like a continuing series and not something that changes every episode. This means that the story that starts in the first episode is going to be developing until the last episode. There are a lot of questions about some things that we don't know for now, and one of those things is what is going to happen with Zyto. If you haven't seen the Dino Fury series, I don't want to give you spoilers, so I'm just going to say that something happened with this character at the end of the 2nd season, and now in Cosmic Fury he is a different Ranger. We also know that it is highly likely that the main villain of this new season will be Lord Zed, and that we may possibly see the Morphin Masters. Despite all the information we have had, still, there are many questions we would like to know the answer to. With the arrival of Cosmic Fury, the Power Rangers franchise has had a drastic change, and that is that they are no longer going to depend on the Sentai. This is a huge advantage for the franchise, but at the same time it is a huge responsibility as well. Cosmic Fury is going to be a test to see if Power Rangers can have the responsibility to continue the franchise without the need to use the Japanese stories. Let's talk about the advantages and disadvantages that this can bring, as it will depend on what can happen after Cosmic Fury. Let's start talking about the advantages, and the first one I must say is the creative freedom. Now the producers can control the whole story, and that gives us opportunities to bring old characters to create epic moments, and that the new series can have a better connection with the old seasons. They are also going to be able to create new characters without needing to give the story a twist, and at the same time bring in something different so it's not boring. Having the opportunity to create the story is the best part, because it's very difficult to have to adapt scenes already created and at the same time try to create a new story with that. That's like being given a pre-made drawing and you have the responsibility to draw something with that, but at the same time be different. If Cosmic Fury ends up being a success, then the next seasons are also going to have almost nothing from the Japanese series. That means they can create series using the Power Rangers story to create something coherent and epic. One example of this is creating a series that could be the prequel to Power Rangers SPD. As many already know, SPD is set in the year 2025, but in the real world this series aired in 2005. This means that it will soon be 20 years since its premiere, but at the same time in the real world we will reach the year in which the series was set, the year 2025. A season of Power Rangers SPD in 2024 that could feature everything that happened before what we saw in that 2005 season of SPD would be one of the best things they could do. Many fans know that the SPD season was one of the best in the franchise's history, and because of this many fans would be interested in seeing something related to this season. Another advantage that the franchise is going to have now that it no longer depends on Sentai, is that they can create Rangers with unusual colors since the culture is very different. With that we could have more leaders with other colors since normally the Red Ranger is the leader, and although we have already had leaders of other colors, it has been very few times. We could also have a Pink Ranger that is male and maybe a Black Ranger that is female since we haven't seen one either, except in the legendary mode of Super Megaforce. There are many things they could do with this new opportunity, but there are also many risks, and that is why now we are going to talk about the disadvantages they are going to have. The biggest disadvantage is the risk because the franchise has implemented the same formula for 30 years and now they have to change everything. This means that they can make the mistake of changing the essence of the franchise by trying new things and they can lose the fans' liking. For the franchise to succeed they must learn to listen to the fans as we are the ones who consume the product and understand the essence. An example of this happened with the special episode as they gave us many things that we the fans were asking for many years, and because of that the special episode was very successful. At the same time production also decided to ignore some important things, such as not using the power blaster, and this made many fans angry. According to the answer given by the main producer, he said that it was not important for them to use the power blaster and also, they had to spend more money and time. This is the best example that the production must learn to listen to the fans because for them the power blaster is not important, but the fans know that this has been one of the most iconic weapons of all time in the franchise. It was something very important to be in the special episode and should have been the weapon that the Rangers used to destroy Rita. If production starts doing what they want without listening to the fans, then that could be a path that could lead them to failure. This does not mean that they should do everything that the fans ask for, but sometimes they should give more weight to the words of the fans. Another major disadvantage they are going to have is the expense of money and time. Now the production is going to have to film all the scenes, that means they are going to take longer to film, which turns into more production expenses and a bigger investment. If Hasbro does not have an adequate budget for this change, then we will start receiving a mediocre product with horrible quality and the stories will have to be limited. To fix this they need to have a high budget so they can deliver a high-level product to keep the franchise alive for many years to come. Leave in the comments what you would like to see happen after Cosmic Fury. If you like SPD, like this video and subscribe for a new season of Power Rangers.